Hello, and welcome to another newsletter from Construction Programs and Results. I'm Michael Stone, and I'll be sharing our newsletter with you. On June 1st, I began my 64th year in construction. I've learned a lot of lessons, and in our articles, I try to share some of the insights that I have gained over those years. I would hope that those newsletters serve to help fix one or more problems in your business and not just serve as a band-aid. This week, we're going to talk about one of the major problems that many contractors have but still ignore: debt load and all the adjoining problems that it creates. If you have found yourself here, then please pay close attention and use the advice we pass along. We have worked with literally thousands of contractors over the years that have fallen into this trap. Those that have taken our advice and have found their lives and their businesses much easier to cope with. Let's talk then about being debt-free. It's not a surprise in the U.S. to hear that the consumer debt is rising right now. Credit card debt specifically is increasing at a higher rate than any other consumer debt, like mortgage, auto, or home equity loans. You know what else is increasing? The interest rate on that debt. Credit card debt is the easiest thing to fall into. You buy a few things and start a small debt load. Along with credit card debt, sometimes contractors are also making less than full payments to suppliers. In a few months, the $2,500 to $3,000 you owe at the end of this month is $6,500 to $7,000 at the end of next month. And so it grows month by month. Almost always when we hear from contractors who are deep in debt, they aren't charging enough for their work. There isn't enough money in their jobs to pay all the suppliers, subcontractors, and labor, as well as cover the business and overhead expenses. Sometimes it isn't business debt that's dogging them. It's household debt because they don't charge enough to pay themselves a salary, and that in turn affects their spouse or significant other and any children. Other times, I want, gets in the way of paying the bills. Whatever the cause, before you know it, you're in over your head. Your personal debt ceiling is a moving target. It's what you get comfortable with. Each month, as the debt grows a little more, you find a way to rationalize it. I've had business owners tell me, no big deal, I can pay it off in a month. The problem with that is they never do. The only person who wins when you're in debt is the credit card company. The interest payments mean less cash flow is available for your business. Sales might slow down, but interest expenses don't. They keep marching on. It's an overhead expense you can't reduce and you can't control. The nickels and dimes add up and can wipe out your profits. Credit cards aren't bad if you handle them right. The cash back and airline companion fares that you can earn are a plus if your debt is paid in full each month. Credit card companies can afford to provide those benefits because they know most cardholders won't pay in full and instead will pay far more in interest and fees than they will ever collect in benefits. Credit card debt isn't the only way to get into financial trouble. As a business owner, you're likely collecting tax money from others, like employee payroll taxes, sales taxes on jobs, etc. It's your responsibility to submit that money to the taxing authorities. It's tempting when the money is there to borrow it from another bill or perhaps a new toy. Don't even think about it. The government agency that you owe, whether it's a sales tax or payroll tax, is bigger than you are. There's no limit on how much time and money they can invest to recover the funds you owe. Make sure your funds for those taxes are safely set aside so they're available to pay when needed. This takes discipline, but in the long run, it is one of the best business habits you can develop. The money gets set aside, and when the taxes are due, you have the money to pay. The IRS also wants a share of your income. Look at last year's tax return to see how much you paid, or ask your accountant, but make sure you're both setting aside sufficient funds and making estimated tax payments as needed. The worst part of being in debt is that it's a distraction. Like a bad tooth, it's always there nagging away. If you're in debt, especially credit card debt, set the goal of becoming debt-free. Put a plan together to get it done. No toys, no nothing. Business is difficult enough without the albatross of debt hanging around your neck. If you aren't in debt, either business or personal, commit to staying that way. Sometimes a planned investment will put you in debt, and that may be okay if you have a realistic schedule to pay it off before the debt is taken on. Make sure you're charging the right price for your work. If you haven't yet, read Markup and Profit, a contractor's guide, and take one of our classes. If you need help or want to talk, I'm available here. It takes discipline to stay out of debt, but it sure beats lying awake at night wondering how to pay your bills. Thanks again for watching, and may the profits be with you.